Hello, everyone. My name is Wilson, and we are going to do some standard here on Magic Online. You can check out my stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time and ending at about 8 o'clock. You can find me at twitch.tv/Crewman Wilson. But we got some business to attend to. This is Blue Red Spells. This is the deck that I brought to Grand Prix Portland. It got me my first ever day two. Ended the day at 8-5, so I went 2-2 on Sunday. Great deck. It hits from so many different angles. There's just so much going on. Let's talk about some of the fun things that you can do with this deck. First off, you have 24 lands. The lands comprise of 9 mountains, 3 islands, and then 7 comes into play tap lands. 4 of these wandering fumaroles, 3 of the Highland Lakes. It runs 4 Shivan Reefs and a Gaia Reach Sanitarium. The Gaia Reach Sanitarium is actually a really important part of the deck because you can do things like discard to Fiery Temper and get the madness there. You can put cards into your graveyard to do things like flip Jace. You can do just all kinds of fun things. And also, it can just get you out of situations where normally it wouldn't be able to get you out of it. Like if you just have all lands in your hand, you can just draw into some burn spells. We have a couple of Lightning Axes, which it's always feeling great to discard to Fiery Temper. 3 Fiery Impulse, 2 Dispels, 2 Anticipates, 3 Thing in the Ices. And Thing in the Ice, there's a bunch of decks right now that are running this deck without Thing in the Ice. I feel like Thing in the Ice is fairly important as it does block things like Sylvan Advocates and Grim Flayers without actually dying to Liliana after the block, where things like that are O3s that are getting dealt 2 damage, Liliana can come down and kill it. And it is just a good wall, and then sometimes you can just finish the game by flipping Thing in the Ice and hitting for 7. Thermo Alchemist is the MVP of the deck. A lot of people think it's Fevered Visions. It's Thermo Alchemist. He is so good. You can just sometimes get in, 3, 4, 5, 6 points of damage with him just by himself. Not to mention just great draws where you can Lightning Axe and Fiery Impulse and dispel things to untap him. A couple of Tormenting Voices, again, to discard Fiery Tempers, but also just to smooth out your draw. Collective Defiance is a fantastic card. Just not only being able to use the Searing Blaze type of ability with it, but you can also just windfall your hand. That's just all like lands and, things that you can't actually be using. And then just draw burn spells. One of the achievement unlocks that I did at Grand Prix Portland was I played Collective Defiance with 3 red mana open, discarded my hand and discarded 3 Fiery Tempers to deal, total of 12 damage to my opponent. So that was pretty cool. Fevered Visions, this card is completely busted. It's Howling Mind that also just kills your opponent. Pretty great. So things to know about with this deck. Just little tips about it. Your opening hand, if you have 7 cards and you don't have a threat, and a threat being Thing in the Ice, Thermo Alchemist, or Fevered Visions, it's more than likely a mulligan. There are hands that have like Tormenting Voices and Anticipates, and you're on the draw, and there's always going to be exceptions to the rule, but usually you want to try and find a threat to go along with your burn spells. Don't be afraid to flow their face. The other thing, or just burn their face. The other thing that I feel like players get a little caught up in is if our opponent has like a planeswalker, like a Liliana the Last Hope. It's a great example. They'll just point Fever Visions at the Liliana to try and kill it. You can ignore the Liliana. You can ignore, flip Jaces. You can ignore a whole bunch of different things. Obnixilis. Just ignore planeswalkers. You don't even have to deal with them. You can just kill your opponent. You don't have to worry about planeswalkers if your opponent's at 0. All right, let's talk about sideboard real quick, and then we can start getting into some games. We got Dispel for the collected company match. One Jace, which I don't think is even right. Just even playing one Jace, I think no Jaces is probably correct. But right now we're running one. A couple of negates, another fiery impulse, rending volley, which is mostly just used for white weenie. Same with Nahiri's wrath, Weaver of Lightning. It should probably be a third Weaver of Lightning over a Jace. Weaver of Lightning can just take over games, and it's completely gross. Four Exquisite Firecrafts, which like playing against decks like White Weenie and Collected Company, and opponents where they can just like dump their hand full of 1-drops and stuff. Just bringing the Firecrafts, they're just uncounterable 4 damage, and that's pretty great. And then Orbs of Warding. Orbs of Warding is the sick tech against pretty much everything. Emrakul, Distended Mindbenders, against the Mirror. Thermal Alchemist does nothing. We counted the number of win conditions the Mirror has when you play an Orbs of Warding, and there's only 4. There's a Flip Thing in the Ice, Fevered Visions, Jace Ultimate, and what was the other one? Forget what the other one was. But yeah, like you can't burn them out. Feared Visions, Thing in the Ice, and a Flip Jace are really the only things that can do it. I thought there was another thing, but oh well. Oh yeah, Weaver of Lightning. Weaver of Lightning is the only other way of doing it. Actually, no, Weaver of Lightning doesn't even do it because he prevents 1 damage. Never mind. So I guess there is only 3 ways, but still, it's pretty great. I really like this deck. We're gonna play some games and see how we do.